Good morning, students. Due to some technical problems, we are going to start lesson number 5, states of matter. So I think you all are fine, and be safe, be healthy, stay at home, and try to utilize maximum time. So in this chapter, we'll take the topic today: types of matter, intermolecular force of attraction, van der Waals forces, dipole-dipole attraction, dipole-dipole interaction, and dispersion force, or we can say London force. Before that, the starting of that chapter, I just revised a quick some points you have already studied in class 9. So students, we all know that there are 5 states of matter, and they are solid, liquid, gas, plasma, and DEC. And out of these, solid, liquid, and gas, these are commonly found, we can found in our everyday life, while remaining 2 are found only under specific conditions. We all know that these are interconversion. We can convert one state to another one. These are physical states, and before that, these states are interconvertible. There are some points like melting point. If we talk about, this is the temperature at which a matter converts from its solid to liquid state. And one important point is that melting point always decreases in the presence of impurity. If there is impurities there, then the melting point of that particular substance will decrease. Boiling point. This temperature is the temperature at which the vapor pressure of a liquid becomes equal to the atmospheric pressure, or we can say that liquid starts boiling. It increases in the presence of impurity and with rise in pressure. So boiling point of water, we all know that is 100 degrees Celsius. Freezing point. At this temperature, as matter converts from its fluid state into solid one. Freezing point of water, you all know, 0 degrees Celsius. Evaporation, if we talk about, it is the process of conversion of a liquid into vapors at any temperature. And so many advantages of evaporation in our daily life, because summer is going on, and we all know, we have read about this in class 9, that water droplets appear on the outer surface of a glass containing ice cold water. Why is it so? Because of evaporation. Water kept in earthen pot in summer, if we kept it, what will happen? It becomes cool during summer. So desert cooler cool better on a hot dry day, because we know that evaporation increases with the increase in temperature. So hot dry day means you are talking about the high temperature. So by this figure, you can easily that we can convert solid to liquid, liquid to gas, and then gas again into solid, and then liquid. So the temperature and pressure, both we are talking about, at which all 3 states of a substance can exist together in equilibrium, is called triple point. Example, ice, liquid, water, and water vapors can coexist, and we can learn it that at 0.0098 degree Celsius and the pressure of 4.58 millimeter, they can exist at equilibrium. You know, most of the observable, we can observe characteristics of chemical system with which we are similar represent bulk properties of matter. We can't say that one molecule of water is boiling, or one drop of water is wetting our skin. So for example, we can say an individual molecule of a liquid does not boil, but the bulk boils. So physical properties, if we talk about, of ice, water, and steam are different. But if we talk about chemical composition of all 3, it contains the molecules of water, and they remain the same. Chemical properties do not change with the change of its physical state, but rate of chemical reaction depend upon the physical state. Now, what are the factors deciding physical state of a substance? Especially in this chapter, we'll talk about the calculation, while we can say dealing with the data of experiments. So therefore, it is necessary for a chemist to know the physical laws which govern the behavior of matter in different states. And for that, we are taking 2 basic properties. One is the intermolecular force of attraction, and second is thermal energy, to decide that this is gas, this is liquid, this is solid. Especially in this chapter we will read about gaseous state only, because as we know that solid state is also in class 11, but the chapter is in states of matter you have to study about the gases. So for gaseous state, force of attraction, we are talking minimum force of attraction between the particles, and thermal energy is much more than forces of attraction. And if we talk about liquid state, they have force of attraction, they have thermal energy, or we can say just equal. For solid states, force of attraction is maximum, much more than the thermal energy. So in this chapter, before the topics related to laws we have to study in this chapter, we should know about the intermolecular forces between the particles, so to determine the state of a substance. So intermolecular forces, if we talk about, are the forces of attraction and repulsion between interacting particles like atoms and molecules. This term does not include the electrostatic force that exists between the two oppositely charged ions and the force that hold atoms of a molecule together, like covalent bonds. So in this chapter we will talk about the intermolecular forces, or the other word is that we can say van der Waals force. Attractive intermolecular forces are known as van der Waals forces. In honor of Dutch scientist Johannes van der Waals, it was named, who explained the deviation of real gases from the ideal behavior through these forces. Intermolecular attraction holds two or more molecules together. These are weakest chemical forces that can be following types. One more thing, that it is important to note that attractive forces between an ion and a dipole are known as ion dipole forces, and these are not van der Waals forces. We will not now learn the types of van der Waals forces. So first one is dispersion forces, we also say London forces, and atom and non-polar molecules are electrically symmetrical. We can say that there is no difference between the electronegativity. Electronegativity means to attract the shared pair of electrons. So there is, we can say electrically they are similar and have no dipole moment because their electronic charge cloud is symmetrically distributed. But a dipole may develop momentarily, we can say, even in such atom and molecule. Suppose A and B atoms are there, two atoms A and B, they have close vicinity of each other. It may so happen that momentarily electronic charge distribution of one of the atoms, say A, becomes unsymmetrical. The charge cloud is more on one side than the other. So what will, like this, you can see that uneven distribution of electrons in helium. What will happen? Instantaneous dipole, and what will happen, it will induce dipole on neighboring helium. So what will happen, the result in the development of instantaneous dipole on the atom A for a very short time. This instantaneous or transient dipole distorts the electron density on the other atom B, which is close to it, and as a consequence a dipole is induced in the atom B. So what will happen, the temporary dipoles of atom A and B attract each other. Similarly, temporary dipoles are induced in molecules also. This force of attraction was first proposed by the German physicist Fritz London. So for that we call it London force. Another name for this force is dispersion force. These forces are always attractive, and interaction energy is inversely proportional to the sixth power of the distance between two interacting particles. We can say it is the energy of that forces is inversely proportional to 1 by r6, where r is the distance between two particles. These forces are important only for short distances, and their magnitude depends on the polarizability of the particle. Now second is dipole forces. You know, this act between the molecule possessing permanent dipole. Ends of the dipole possesses partial charges, and these charges are shown by Greek letter delta. You can see the delta sign between two HCl molecules. This interaction is stronger than the London force, but is weaker than ion-ion interaction because only partial charges are involved. The attractive force decreases with the increase of distance between the dipoles. As in the above case, here also the interaction energy is inversely proportional to distance between polar molecules. Dipole-dipole interaction energy between stationary polar molecules is proportional to 1 by r cube, and that between rotating polar molecule is proportional to 1 by r6. Means these are different for stationary as well as rotating one, where r is the distance between two polar molecules. We can see the example like this: two HCl molecules, and what will happen? Partial positive charge on hydrogen and partial negative charge of chlorine. It attracts to the other molecule of positive charge of this hydrogen, and then again chlorine will get negative, partially negative charge. Third is dipole induced dipole. This type of attractive forces operate between the polar molecules having permanent dipole and the molecules lacking permanent dipole. Permanent dipole of the polar molecule induces dipole on the electrically neutral molecule by deforming its electronic cloud. Thus an induced dipole is developed in the other molecule. In this case also, interaction energy is proportional to 1 by r6, r to the power 6, where r is the distance between two molecules. We can see the example like O2 induced dipole and between the water molecule and oxygen. So these are the types of intermolecular forces, and hope so you can understand. And the other one is one more important, that hydrogen bond. in chapter we can say chemical bonding, there is one topic is left, hydrogen bond. Hydrogen bond is the type of bonds found in the molecules in which highly polar, like between nitrogen and hydrogen, oxygen and hydrogen, hydrogen fluorine bonds are present. Although hydrogen bonding is regarded as being limited to nitrogen, oxygen and fluorine, but species such as chlorine may also participate in hydrogen bonding. Energy of hydrogen bond varies 10 to 100 kilojoule per mole. This quite significant amount of energy. Therefore, hydrogen bonds are powerful force in determining the structure and properties of many compounds. For example, proteins, nucleic acids. So by the help of this diagram or figure, we can see that the hydrogen bonding in between the two molecules of water, and this is the last slide of this session, and hope you can understand them. You just revise you can see the video again and again, you can revise the topics, and if you find any problem regarding that, then we'll definitely discuss in other sessions. So thank you बच्चों, and learn them.